This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. My guest is Mr. Derek Richardson. He's the president of the Estate Police Association in Trinidad and Tobago. That's the union that represents people working in the private security subsector. The discussion centers around the fact that 2 officers were killed and a third was injured significantly and seriously in the attempted robbery at the Pennywise branch in La Romaine just a couple of days ago. What are the arrangements? What is the environment like on a regular basis? And what do incidents such as these, how they affect people in the sector? Mr. Richardson, good morning.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Good to see you. I think if you can unmute your mic, because I'm seeing you speaking. All right.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So let me ask you, I want to start by asking you, what are some of your general comments as a response to this latest incident?
Well, Andy, generally I would say it has been coming. It has been coming, and we have been warning. We have been trying to get all the authorities, the companies especially, to up their game, to look at the threat levels, to look at the equipment and the operations. And by and large, we've been ignored. The companies are, well, most of them are, well, I want to generalize and say everyone, but most of them are just content to just make their money and not actually to carry out the kind of service and protect the persons who are actually making their profits for them. So it has been coming. If we remember the incident at Piaco, right, where under nearly the same circumstances, highly trained people, right, intercepted the vehicle with huge amounts of money, right, and made off with it. Our officers were killed in the vehicle, and then that's 2013 or some area, and then we are here now, and this thing has happened again. I think what has happened is that because Trinidad and Tobago have seen it, actually nearly what you will call in real time, it has startled us in a particular kind of way. But we have been at the forefront of making the calls, speaking about the ills in the industry, how people are remunerated, how they are treated. We have asked the government to amend the laws, right? We have asked the government to take out VAT and all the duties, in fact, associated with protective equipment, right? So we would have been signaling that things are not right, right? So
yeah,
it's a case of the chickens coming home to roost now, except that the roosting of the families of those who are suffering today.
All right, I want to come back to what you said about it's been coming, and you all have been asking the company to up the game. But before that, there was a story in the paper, I think yesterday or the day before, in which you were quoted as saying that the company should do more than just pay for the funeral expenses of these workers. You just talk about that and talk about what you think has to happen on top of that.
All right. Well, every time an officer dies while in the execution of duty in this country, you hear the companies come out and say, okay, they will take care of funeral expenses. That is totally just scratching the surface of the issue. You need to be able to support in tangible ways the families that will have been affected by that death, especially in circumstances such as this. So what we want, and we will be having a meeting with the company on Monday, so I don't want to prejudice or think exactly what we are going to seek, but we are going to seek the best interest of the families that are left behind, the children especially that are left behind, and the long-term benefits is what we are seeking. We are going to seek some sort of retribution, monetary compensation for the loss. So those are the things that we are going to be discussing. We would have suggested to that same company and other companies that there are insurance plans that we are associated with, which they could have signed on to but neglected to. And so moving forward, our suggestions are to partner with group plans, such as a group plan. There's a group plan for persons in the essential services, right, which is SACHICO, which we are an agent of, a unit in fact of, right? We have signed on as an organization. So officers or persons in the essential services can join the association either as a member if you are a state police, or if you're in any of the essential services. You can join the association as an associate member and have access to these group plans, which gives you up to $1 million of coverage at a very affordable rate, right? As an association, we have also gone the step where we would have had our brokers, Millennium Insurance Brokers, broker a plan with Deacon, whereby for $100 per year, you can have a death benefit or a funeral benefit, as you call it, of $20,000, right? So business has to step up. The benefits that that officers will need to, and need when especially the families will need whenever they leave this plane, right? The benefits that they will benefit them while they are here, right, are what we are focused on. It's not just always about getting an increase, because most of the time, if you're working in a low-income environment and you get an increase, let's say, for instance, we can go and say we get a 10% increase, let's say, by MTS, which is a state company, but they are being paid minimum wage. 10% at that company will only equate to $1.75, $1.70 per hour, right? So $1.50. So what is the benefit to that employee?
What is the real benefit? There's no real sufficiently tangible improvement on the situation.
When the minimum wage from $15 to $17.50, nobody saw the benefit, the real effect of that on their salaries.
Right. So the meeting on Monday, was that regularly scheduled, or is it coming as a direct result of this
It's coming out of the action we took in front of after the incident. The company, we decided that we meet Monday to give them the opportunity to put things in place, and then we'll meet Monday and discuss the outstanding agreement, of course, because that is a company that hasn't had a raise since 2006. The agreement has been outstanding since 2006, right? So they need to update. They say they recognize they need to do better. So that's where we are.
Something's wrong with the audio again. We're losing you.
I don't know, but I am on. You hear me?
Yeah, hear you now again.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna be speaking benefits. We're gonna be speaking into the negotiations. We're gonna be speaking exactly how are you going to make sure that officers are protected, right? And we expect that is will be a long meeting. We scheduled to start at 8:30 on Monday. And the officers are waiting the outcome of that, because of course they will be very, very anxious and very, very concerned about what is happening.
You said that you all have been calling for the government to amend and to improve legislation having to do with work in this area of the economy. Like what specifically? What do you want to see happen?
Okay. Right. Well, of course, we would have, since 2019, we have been asking the government to remove the VAT, remove all the duties and taxes on vests to make it more affordable. That is because when we have been pushing the companies to purchase vests for everyone, and they've been always met with the issue of cost. Now, we understand how businesses run and everything, so we've taken an innovative approach to problem solve it, even probably on behalf of the companies, because they don't seem to really have any ideas of how to really solve the issues. So we asked the government, or we petitioned the government, to take away the duties on vests, which will amount to a 42% reduction. So the issue of cost now will not be a factor for them. what is now instructive is that the level of vests and everything will have to go up because of the level of threat and firepower will be meeting outside there.
Yeah,
we also have to look at, we're asking for the firearms. How much are you, okay, in a situation such as the estate police, we only allow to carry a certain amount of ammunition. We want that to be addressed also, right? So there are a number of things that we are going to discuss. We have a meeting with the Minister of National Security coming up on Tuesday. So a lot of things will be centered around the issues of how the state could impact or should impact, in fact, the health and well-being of those persons in the security industry who by and large work on behalf of the government, because the government is still the largest employer of state police and security officers in this country.
All right, so you're meeting with the company on Monday, and then meeting with the Minister of National Security on Tuesday.
Yes,
so
on Tuesday.
It was arranged like that, so that based on what transpires in the meeting with the company on Monday, you all then go to the Minister of National Security?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we would have written to the minister, to the Prime Minister, right? And then we received a response from the Prime Minister indicating that he would have sent our letter to the Attorney General, to the Minister of Legal Affairs, and the Ministry of National Security.
And this was before this incident?
This was way before this incident,
okay.
Yes. Way before this incident. I said we have been petitioning them since 2019 to remove the VAT and the duties, and we will send the letter to the Prime Minister asking him to look at the fact that in the minimum wages order for security industry of our employees, there are no provisions for annual leave and sick leave and provision of uniforms. And that was taken out in 1995. I don't know if you remember, I would have indicated that to you when we had previously met.
Yes.
So he would have sent it to the Ministry of Legal Affairs and the Attorney General and the Ministry of National Security. And well, we will see what develops from that.
So so this meeting now, this incident now, sort of will influence the agenda, at least with the Minister of National Security. Yes, of course, we will have
this incident will be part of the agenda of the meeting with National Security. Yes.
Yeah. Is there to what extent you know how the thing works, such that in some companies at least, if not across the industry, some of the workers, some of the officers get to be assigned in different spheres of activity from others. The ones who are assigned to situations where the risk is higher, and so on. Is that a way in which companies operate? So you separate out the kinds of officers who may be suitable for more high risk assignments than others?
Yes. Well, some risk assessment has to be done and competency assessment has to be done. So the persons who have to carry out the functions of policy cash in transit, rapid response and all of that will have to have a higher level of training and development and skill and on a regular basis to actually retain their skills, because you need to be consistently being trained and updating your skills in these environments. So traditionally, the issue was that you would issue vests for persons who are carrying firearms, because they are deemed to be the persons most in the firing line, right? We have a different opinion. We are saying that everybody, especially in this particular environment now, and the crime that is happening now, and what we are seeing, that should be issued with some level of protection via a vest. Because let's say you are working at a location, a business place, whatever, without a firearm, there's an altercation. You've been called upon to act, to party fight, or whatever is the case may be, right? And you approach that situation in a particular way, and not understanding or not knowing that one of the persons involved probably will have a knife or something, and then you could suffer a stab. So if you have that protection of the vest, right, it also works as a deterrent for injury in such an instance. And we'd have seen many altercations in many business places in this country where situations such as that could have gone extremely, extremely bad for the officer intervening. So we're calling for protection for everybody, and that's why our stance has been for vest and training, more importantly, equipment, proper battles, right, and training to use the battles. Use of force, the use of force thing must be applied across the board, not just for state police, for security and reinforced. So those are the things that we have been advocating for and trying to get companies to have as standard operating procedures, right? Training, we know they've been complaining about the cost of training and the cost of this and the cost of that. But we clearly see that the cost to the lives and the reputation of the company is much more than the output that you would put to take to carry your training agenda forward. Because right now, Allied would be suffering from that.
Yeah, I want to go back to your what you said earlier in the discussion about attempts to address better protection for the workers. And you talked about insurance policies that will take care of them while they're here and while they're around, and then another on the other side of that will provide. I would use the term sufficient. You may think that $1 million may not necessarily be all that sufficient, yeah. But that's a kind of cushion for those who they may leave behind in instances such as this.
Exactly, and since we've had this plan in place, we've seen a number of persons during the COVID period who families will have quote unquote benefited from that provision that their loved one would have put in place for their well-being. So it is something that we feel very passionately about, that in the circumstances that we find ourselves in, that the COVID will have taught us a lot of lessons concerning life and death, how easy it is to lose your life and leave your families undone, especially in these times of high inflation and everything, and no salary increases. So we are trying to get the companies to buy into that, to provide some sort of really tangible benefits. But they have been very reticent to do it, and they always put you off and put you off and put you off, and then nothing happens. So we've been saying that Labour has all been accused of only looking for money. But we have shown that we are looking for benefits, tangible benefits. How do we impact your life while you're working your working life, right? And in the incidence of your health, right? Labour has to, and this is our opinion, that you have to impact each and every facet of somebody's life. Because while you're working, your health is extremely important for you to continue to work, right? For you to be able to take care of your family. And when you're gone, right, your family, your children, your generations are left behind, and you need to leave some generational wealth or some generational something to stand on for them when you leave. So we have also gone to the extent now where we have already set a cooperative, my apologies, and we have signed on with the wholesale companies, and we are in the process right now as we speak. We are speaking with VEMCO. In a meeting, the officers are there speaking, the other officers are there speaking with VEMCO, and we are putting together packages and passing on the wholesale savings to our members. So we have to impact we have to change the way industrial relations and what it is a union or association is required to do by providing for our opportunities for our members in the first place, so that they can really impact all areas of their life. Home, your health, you'll be able to put food on the table, and educational opportunities, and all of that we are looking to put in place.
That sounds like a pretty very progressive kind of agenda.
Yes.
How is it tough going to be talking with companies on this? And I want to add to that the concern as to the extent to which some companies may be better resourced in different parts of the economy, operating at a higher level than others. and how do you try and equalize that kind of representation across the board now?
Yeah, well, that's why how we are putting it, okay, we put in all like our packages right now will suit different pockets. Okay, so you'll have the basic package, a premium package, and so that for you to be able to, so according to your own pocket, you will have this package that that you will be able to afford, and you'll say, okay, we have a web, an email address, and you could go onto the email and choose. You can in fact go onto the website, choose your package, send the email to us, and we will get that package prepared, and we give you the account number for you to pay, and you collect your package. It's as easy as that. So somebody who's working at, let's say, one of the state companies who will probably have a better salary income and could be able to afford more, there's a package that they will be able to afford. And those who are the lower end, there's a package that they will be able to afford and with savings. So we are not going to be putting any interest on the packages. So whatever is the wholesale price, we are passing on that wholesale price to the members.
Yeah. In the particular incident, the third officer who was injured was a woman.
Yes.
How do you speak to the issue about how, so teams such as this, and this may have been already identified as a kind of high-risk assignment, moving money from one place to the next, and to what extent there is the sense that there's always the possibility that teams will be targeted. And I'm talking about the inclusion of a woman in that group.
Well, a woman, she is highly trained. She is a very competent officer. I have known her personally. She is part of our women's committee. So once you train, once there's training and development and the willingness to, the gender issue is not as much as an issue, right? Because you have females in the military and all of that.
Yes.
Now the issue there really is the security structure, the things that was put in place that in fact was not put in place, which would have resulted in that action. That's right. We are very adamant because the branch board, the local branch board at Allied, would have been vociferous, would have been basically pleading with this particular company to provide better equipment and provide better transportation and everything for that particular thing there. Because if you go onto their website, you see they advertise cash in transit and safe and all of that, right? So they have blood on their hands because they have been warned. They have been basically ignoring the branch board.
All right, I want to ask you. I want to ask you to hold the point. We need to take a break, and when we come back, we take it up from right there. You say, in this case, there's some specificity matters about this particular case and this particular company. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
we come back to that on the other side. Stay with us.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
questions. My guest is Mr. Derek Richardson. He's the head of the Estate Police Association in Trinidad and Tobago. The discussion around the fact that two security guards were killed and one were injured in this attempted heist at the Pennywise branch in Laromaine. Let's put the question this way. So you were saying this is an opportunity for you to be saying that we told you so. We would be telling you about these sort of high levels of challenge and possibility of this kind of action with this company. Hey, it has happened. So let's talk.
Yes. So in a situation, as I say, it's not just specific to the Allied, because there are a number of companies carrying out doing that practice.
Yes.
Right? Now, I will not go into the tactical aspects of it, but of course, because it will be very, very irresponsible of me to actually, publicly say what should have happened in a situation such as that, right? And the whatever shortfalls. But it's there, people see exactly what happened, right? There wasn't any backup. There just was a lone vehicle, and the officers didn't have a chance, the overwhelming firepower, right, took the lives of our officers. So these companies take these contracts, and businesses have been paying very small money for those sort of services, right? So all they care about is the fact that you come and you take their money bags and you deliver that money. The security company who is engaging in these contracts, all they care about is that the money is returned to the bank in a safe way. So the safety of the persons carrying out the duties, obviously, by those actions and by just what we demonstrated action here now, recognize that is the lowest part of their concern. So we've made it public and we've said again that those persons who are responsible for sending out those officers in the manner in which they did, right, have to be dealt with, disciplined, if not dismissed, after due process. These companies will fine you for any manner of infraction. $100, $200, $20. If you get an accident and you find we have a light case now where an officer got in a vehicle accident and they wanted to pay the full $20,000.
Yeah, you mean right? that's the security companies.
Yeah, the security company. So if you're going to do that to the officers and them take out of their meager salaries, right? Working on agreements that is in excess of 16 years, right? When these persons in management make these decisions, despite the protestation and the urgence of the association and the Allied, how can they remain in their positions? How could it be that the person, the chief operating officer and all of them, who sent out these persons in this vehicle, right, despite the urgence again of the protestations concerning the appropriateness of the equipment and the vest and everything, how come they are continuing to work without even being sent on leave, on suspension, pending an investigation?
Yeah.
Right? That is unconscionable. And I told the company, I said, we cannot accept that in no form or fashion.
What is the sense of encouragement you have? What is the sense of encouragement you have, if you can call it encouragement, about this incident happening sort of on the doorstep of the meeting with the Minister of National Security coming on Tuesday?
Well, you see, the things that are going to be, that have to be put in place is going to take time. It is going to take time. And the encouragement I give people is that at least, right, we are going to finally get to the table where we will be able to address some issues in the manner in which it ought to have been addressed for a long time. So we will see the posture that the authorities take with us, and we will be certainly reporting back, when it's appropriate, exactly where we are on these issues and what is to be done in pursuit of these issues. So as I said, It's just that we are at the table now.
All right, okay, we're going to have to leave it there. But thank you very much, Mr. Derek Richardson, President of the Estate Police Association.
I just wanted, before I go on, if I could just make...
Go ahead.
You know, the day after this incident,
yes,
we believe that 10 officers, after we told them do not go out, and we told the company this is not safe, 10 officers chose to, on the urging of the company, go out and do this duty in the same manner in which those officers would have passed. And I'll leave that right there for people to understand what really happens outside there.
And those are some of the hard, harsh realities of the situation.
Hard, harsh reality. So when the association takes a stance, people kick it down.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take care of me.
This has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.